This week on Beacon Web News, we find out what students have been working on for the Undergraduate Research Conference. Then, Karen Canella harmonizes at the Allegrettos Spring Concert. After that, Ali Tinel attends the 3rd Annual Innovation and Entrepreneur Challenge. That's coming up next on Beacon Web News. Hello and welcome to the April 24th episode of Beacon Web News. I'm Andrew Strout. Last week, MCLA students had a chance to show off their hard work throughout the semester at the annual Undergraduate Research Conference. Julia Texera attended the URC to learn what students have been working on.
This past Thursday, MCLA hosted the 17th Annual Undergraduate Research Conference. The conference, which spans the entire day, sees students across different majors and concentrations presenting on their academic research.
So today I'm presenting my data. I had an internship with the MCLA Wellness Center, and they were really interested in looking at smoking behaviors in MCLA students.
I'm presenting my experience at the North American Model United Nations Conference, which I participated in for a course here at MCLA.
So I'm presenting my senior project that continued from last semester. I ended up doing a systems analysis and design. I did a parts database for my father, essentially comparing two parts and knowing if they're interchangeable.
We're presenting on the blending of pre-Hispanic cultures, so the indigenous cultures of Mexico, and that blending with Catholicism.
After the morning sessions of presentations, students and faculty were treated to speeches from various faculty members, including the keynote speaker, Alexandra Nichapur, an MCLA graduate from the class of 2012. Professor Justin Golub, who is currently the chair of undergraduate research, and Professor Jenna Shudo, who is the associate chair, explains the balance that comes with planning the URC.
There's a lot of work that happens in a very short period of time. So there's a lot of time, and unfortunately it sometimes takes away from your teaching, and you gotta reel yourself back in and remember you're also teaching classes. But having a good group of people that work on the undergraduate research conference helps make it go smoothly and helps everything happen in a very short period of time.
And as for their favorite parts of the conference each year,
I love the poster session. I love seeing all those posters and all the students presenting and talking excitedly about their research, and everyone that comes to see it. Everyone's walking around seeing all these different things that are being presented.
Poster session is great. I love the energy in that space. I also am a sucker for the panels. I really like listening.
After this year, Professor Shudo will take over as the head chair of the URC, and she tells us about her expectations for next year.
As I step up, and yeah, if it went as smoothly as it's going this year, I would be very, very happy.
And for Beacon Web News, I'm Julia Texera.
This Thursday, April 25th, the annual Take Back the Night event will be held in the Quad at 8 p.m. The event will highlight the importance of standing with victims of sexual assault, harassment, and domestic violence. The location will change to Venable Gym if it rains. The Student Activities Council presents their annual Spring Carnival on April 27th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. The carnival will have free food, carnival games, and a mechanical bull. The event will be hosted in the Quad, and all students are welcome to join. Last week, MCLA's Allegrettos a cappella group showcased the music they've been working on throughout the semester. BWN's Karen Canella was there to take in the music.
The Allegrettos Spring Show concert is one of MCLA's well-known traditions. Watch what happens when a cappella and gospel comes together.
The Allegrettos annual spring show hit the stage of Church Street Center this past Friday. The a cappella and gospel group had a variety of pieces, including solos, duets, and even pairs of three. Mary Mora, the lighting director of the show, explains how it all came together.
I know they've been working all semester for this show, and I've done the lighting here for like 4 years, so I'm really excited to see how far they've come in each iteration of the show, you know?
Excited audience members recap on what they enjoyed most from the show.
The singing was great, amazing, top of the line. If you weren't here, you missed out, missed out on a great performance.
I think my favorite part of the show was how they really got in the beginning when they got the audience to interact and sing along. I think that was really powerful and just kind of teaches you what they go through when preparing.
My favorite piece from the show is a piece by Delta Ray, and it's about a river.
I like the I Smile song and also the Sam Smith I Pray.
When asked to describe the show using one word, students said,
dynamic.
Fantastic.
Pretty lit. I mean, lit. Yeah.
Ethereal.
At the end, the hardest but most exciting time of the show came when seniors were giving their farewells by other members of the club.
And we love you so much. It's been great helping today's session. Thanks.
The show was a success for the a cappella and gospel group, and every semester students hope to hear more from the club. The Allegrettos have said their goodbyes for this semester and hope to harmonize with more students in the fall. For Beacon Web News, I'm Karen Canella.
The Advanced Performing Arts Management class in the Berkshire Cultural Resource Center will be hosting a comedy show featuring Sam Jay on May 5th at 7 p.m. in the Church Street Center. Jay is highly recognized for being an Emmy-nominated writer for Saturday Night Live and known for her stand-up comedy. Tickets are free for all MCLA students and will be $20 for the general public. In need of a space to get the creative process going? Visit the Ashland Street Project Space at 50 Ashland Street. Project Space is a community flex space for workshops, performances, meetings, and gatherings.
Recently, the state
of New York
information,
visit facebook.com/ASPSNAMA. On this week's edition of Take Note, Andrew Belargent discusses the recent outbreak of measles in America and questions those who still do not believe in vaccinations.
Recently, the state of New York imposed mandatory measles vaccinations for all unvaccinated individuals living in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. The city has vowed to issue violations and a fine of $1,000 for those that did not comply. In the months leading up to these decisions, New York officials tried educating about vaccines and even banned unvaccinated students from going to school. However, New York is still in the midst of its worst measles outbreak in decades. New York and New Jersey combined for 182 confirmed cases of measles in 2018, which accounts for more than half of such cases in the U.S. Combine this with the fact that parents have been filing lawsuits against the state, which a judge recently sided with the state on one of them, and you get a disturbingly regressive trend, which has reintroduced a disease we haven't seen since the turn of the 21st century. Indeed, the Centers for Disease Control declared measles eliminated in the year 2000 after nearly 30 years of developing and implementing a vaccine to get rid of it. Now, with more idiots refusing to give their children these vaccines, the disease has returned. This is not only extremely immoral and illogical, but it violates the rights of the child in that the child is not receiving proper care from their caretakers, which is leading to very, very young illnesses and even deaths that could easily have been avoided. While contraction of measles, the flu, or a similar disease that can be potentially fatal is the risk of not taking vaccines, the risk of taking vaccines is that your arm might be a little sore for a day or two. Finally, consider that the loudest, debatably most reliable source for anti-vaccine information is a former model for Playboy magazine who simply has no medical or scientific background. Simply put, there is no substantial evidence that vaccines cause serious long-term harm, especially compared to the likes of something such as the measles, despite what that 50th page on your biased Google search might tell you otherwise. Thank you, and make sure to view Beacon Web News next week for the last edition of Take Note.
Is the end of the semester bringing you down? Join RPS as they host an afternoon of games, food, and other activities at BT Bazaar. The event is on Saturday, April 27th from 4 to 6 p.m. in the Taconic Lawn. This event is for Berkshire Tower residents only. It's big and it's back once again. The Student Activities Council is hosting a big prize bingo on Saturday, April 27th at 8 p.m. in Venable Gym. Come play bingo and win big. It's free to play with one board, although additional boards can be purchased. All proceeds will go to the class of 2019. And this week on Weary Weekly Entertainment News, Rob Weary discusses where and how to see the most anticipated film of the year, Avengers Endgame. Rob?
Thanks, Andrew. Welcome to this week's episode of Weary Weekly Entertainment News. There's only one movie debuting this week at the Movieplex Theater in North Adams, but it's sure to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, movie of 2019, Marvel Studios' Avengers Endgame. The sequel to the most ambitious crossover event in history, Infinity War, has our heroes trying to fight back the dastardly Thanos after the events of the first film left the world an entirely changed place. After Endgame, it is doubtful that the Marvel Cinematic Universe will ever be the same. The movie is sure to be action-packed, but also very tension-filled, and you may want to bring tissues to this one. Avengers Endgame is directed by brothers Anthony and Joe Russo. Avengers Endgame opens Thursday, April 25th. The first 2D movie premieres at the Movieplex at 6 o'clock p.m., and the first 3D showing premieres at 6:15 p.m. Student tickets cost $7 for all movies, except for $5 Tuesdays. Buying tickets for this movie isn't going to be a snap. The anticipation for this movie has caused ticket sites, such as Fandango and AMC Theaters, to crash. If Northplex's tickets are all sold out, you can buy tickets at Regal 10 Cinemas in Lanesboro by the Target store. Regal's tickets are slightly more expensive at $10.15, and there is no student discount. Endgame is rated PG-13 for action, language, and some crude references. Next, the 9th annual Teen Invitational Art Show will be showing at Mass MoCA. This yearly event brings the best high school artists from northern Berkshire County together to show off their pieces. It's an excellent case of these young artists' work, but it also works as a collaboration between high school teachers, principals, and students to show how to create an art show. Everyone has been hard at work, so go out and support your local schools. The Teen Invitational opens on Friday, April 26th at 7 p.m. and runs through Sunday, April 28th. The paintings will be shown throughout Mass MoCA's galleries. On opening night, there will also be a student-run party with music, food, and a chance to speak to the artists. All Mass MoCA events are free to MCLA students. Finally, are you curious about seeing up-and-coming musicians in Massachusetts? Bright Ideas Brewery in North Adams will give you this opportunity. Every Tuesday night, Bright Ideas is working together with the Common Folk Art Collaborative to present concerts with local musicians. The Tuesday night shows will give you a chance to hear great music in an intimate and relaxed setting. Bright Ideas Brewery is located on 111 Mass MoCA Way in the courtyard of Mass MoCA. There is no cover charge to see the musicians, but the Common Folk Art Collaborative does suggest that concertgoers bring a $5 to $10 donation to help support these up-and-coming artists. Bright Ideas Brewery is only open to those over 21. Make sure to bring your ID because they will be doing checks. That ends this week's edition of Weary Weekly Entertainment News. I'll be here every week discussing the many movies, plays, art exhibits, and more going on in North Adams and surrounding towns. Summer movie season is quickly approaching, so on the season finale of Weary Weekly, I'll be previewing the many blockbuster hits coming to theaters so you can plan your summer movie-going experience. Back over to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Rob. And speaking of being in the end game, finals week is soon approaching, and the Friel Library has extended their hours until 2 a.m. for the final weeks of the semester. If you're up all night studying for finals or just need to put the finishing touches on a paper, the library offers a calming, studious environment to get work done. Last Wednesday, MCLA hosted the 3rd annual Innovation and Entrepreneurship Challenge, in which students compete in a style similar to the TV show Shark Tank. Allie Tienel has the story.
MCLA's Innovation and Entrepreneurship Challenge has been compared to a mini version of the popular television series Shark Tank. This year, 3 different products went head-to-head to see who would take home the grand prize of $10,000. The 3rd annual Innovation and Entrepreneurship Challenge saw 2 solo candidates and 1 duo pitch their creations to a panel of judges. On the judging panel was Richard Alcombright, Celia Clancy, and Ben Svensson. Scotia Bent, responsible for Beautiful, was first for the evening, displaying head wraps and an inspirational message.
I would like it to target people of color so they can feel beautiful in their own skin and not feel like they have to conform to European beauty. There are people out there who don't know where to turn, they don't feel beautiful, so it would really help to reassure people's confidence.
Duo, Nicholas Trzynski and Owen Fitzgerald, the team responsible for Wet, broke down why their product should emerge victorious over the rest.
If you can easily get an item that doubles, triples, or quadruples the lifespan of a disposable razor for just $10, you're going to get that money back. You're going to save your money, your $10, within 2 months.
We work together well, so it's, you know, if I have an idea and he has a different idea, we can usually come to some sort of happy medium instead of just becoming conflicted or, you know, having the idea sink.
Pitch number 3 belonged to Gabrielle Kernosik. The product, Naked at Your Door, with its name and company's motivation, caught the attention of the judges.
Mine was a subscription box service that's all eco-friendly products that introduces the consumer to different products that will help switch over from single-use plastics or plastic materials that will give them long-lasting products. It's a big issue that's going on. If we don't make changes now to our single-use plastic intake, there's going to be irreversible changes.
Even President James Burge made an appearance, eager to support MCLA's Bright Minds of Tomorrow.
Today's student is thinking in ways that they haven't in many, many years, so they're more innovative, more creative, and so I think that they're trying to find an outlet for what their ideas are, what their services are.
All 3 products had to meet a specific pitch criteria. They had to touch upon marketing, costs, management, and outside competitors. Despite each being different, they all had one overarching commonality: to better the ecosystem.
All over social media we're harming our earth with what we're using, and our consumerism is out of the door with how many plastics we're using.
2 billion razors in landfills. I used to spend $20 on razors every 5-6 weeks or so. I mean, they lock them at grocery stores and Rite Aid.
In the end, it was Wet who was declared the winner, taking home the grand prize of $10,000. If you've got a product the world should know about, consider pitching it at next year's Innovation and Entrepreneurship Challenge. For Beacon Web News, I'm Allie Teenel.
It's time to land that dream job. If you're in need of assistance, the Senior Success Series is here to help. On Tuesday, April 30th at 5 p.m., come join the Career Development Team to receive free professional headshots. In order to take part, you must also attend the LinkedIn workshop as well. Both events will be held together in Sullivan Lounge. 4 years can go fast, and the best way to reflect on these memories can be done flipping through photographs. If you're graduating this May and would like to submit some pictures to the yearbook, now is the time. The images should be related to academics, athletics, clubs, events, student life, performances, and throwbacks. To submit, head to the marketplace and scan the code hanging from the banner. Our City Council correspondent, Shunquel Dennis, is back this week to tell us what happened at the North Adams City Council meeting last night. What do you have for us, Shun?
The proposed order for the mayor to execute a purchase and sale agreement for the Mohawk Theater returned to the council last night and was unanimously approved. Councilor Benjamin Lamb was the first councilor to show his support, but he proposed an amendment regarding the language of the authorization of the order. Councilor Jason LaForest followed, asking for more clarification regarding the marquee, in which Councilor Lamb replied that the buyer of the Mohawk Theater would also obtain the marquee and be responsible for maintaining it. Other councilors, such as Joshua Moran, had fears regarding the restrictions potentially lessening prospective buyers' interest in purchasing the Mohawk Theater. Councilor Cohen believes the language proposed in the amendment is still vague enough that it would entice buyers. Councilor Lamb also shared the importance of the marquee at the Mohawk Theater and how it is a piece of the city that not only the community, but tourists notice and connect to North Adams as well. Mayor Tom Bernard announced that the new police chief will be Lieutenant Jason Wood. This will be made official on May 1st with the swearing in. Following that will be a public swearing in on Friday, May 3rd. Wood will be replacing Michael Casalio, who was born and raised in North Adams and a graduate from Drury High School. Mayor Bernard wished him continued health and happiness in front of many of his supporters, including his family and fellow officers. Casalio spoke about his support working under 3 different mayors over the years. He said it has helped him grow to be a better person. Casalio expressed how he could not say enough to explain the experience he's had working with people in the city. As for the soon-to-be new chief, he said, "I will stand behind Chief Wood. I will help him in any way I can. He's a good man." May marks the beginning of National Mental Health Awareness Month, and with that, Mayor Bernard announced that May 5th through 11th will be Children's Mental Health Awareness Week. This is a national program that was developed to raise more public awareness of this issue. After sharing some statistics, Mayor Bernard included the importance of being aware of the mental health of children within the community. For Beacon Web News, I'm Shanquelle Dennis.
Join IGE for a viewing of the film Carol on Friday, April 26th at 7 p.m. in the Sullivan Lounge. Released in 2015 and directed by Todd Haynes, Carol tells the story of a forbidden love affair between a photographer and an older woman going through a divorce. Pizza and drinks will be provided. A few weeks ago, the MCLA Board of Trustees approved a course overload plan that will require students taking over 18 credits to pay $200 per extra credit. SimCare has more on this story.
The Board of Trustees voted on April 4th to begin charging students $200 per credit over 18 credits.
Students would be charged a $200 fee starting in excess of 18 credits. This only affects students entering MCLA starting in fall 2019. So new students that are starting their first year or new transfer students at MCLA. And the intention behind it really is to be an intervention point so students can maybe think a little more thoroughly about the course loads that they're taking and making sure they're on track to graduate in 4 years. So current students won't be affected.
It's only for incoming freshmen, so the affected people who are in, the students who are in school now, they're not really affected by it. But I think the upcoming freshmen are going to feel like they can't afford to take extra classes, and it's for people who want to graduate early or people who need to catch up. So I think that's going to really bring tension to them and like not knowing what they want to do in the future.
The school feels that this decision will help students to graduate on time. However, some students may disagree.
So this is sort of in line with a number of best practices for students to make sure they're taking full credit loads, but maybe not overburdening themselves with extra credits.
Everybody's situation is different. You graduate when you graduate depending on the classes that you take and the major that you're in, and there's so many logistics. So I think that it might hurt the students who want to graduate under 4 years because they might not be able to afford that. And I know that for my situation, again, like I'm graduating in 3.5 years, and if I couldn't take those extra classes, I'd have to wait an extra semester. I wouldn't be able to graduate with my friends and do certain things, so that's annoying.
We are one of the few schools who doesn't charge for course overloads in the region.
Because we're the only school in the region that doesn't have this, and I think we're missing out on money, which is true, which is, you can tell at the school we need the money obviously, so it would help us, but also hurt the people who want to take classes.
There are some people who are already hoping to make a change on this decision.
I know that several departments have already tried to reach out about it and try to change it, so that's really good that people are doing stuff like that already right off the bat after hearing about it. But I think more students should speak up and say, this is what happened to me and this is why I think this is unfair, because at the end of the day, everyone's here for the students, not for just the school itself, because without the students, we wouldn't have anything.
This decision will begin fall of 2019 and will only affect the class of 2023 and on. For Beacon Web News, I'm SimCare.
If you plan on taking classes over the summer, the deadline to apply for student housing is Friday, April 26th. Summer housing will be available from May 26th through August 17th. Students must complete a minimum of 8 credits for summer housing. To apply, please visit RPS located at Townhouse 89. That's it for this week. To stay up to date on all things BWN, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week for the final episode of the semester.
home.